Union Home Minister Amit Shah will visit Jammu and Kashmir for the first time after his historic speech on Article 370 in Parliament on the 5th of August 2019 and a move to remove roadblocks from total integration of Jammu and Kashmir with the rest of the country. But have things really changed for the better on ground? The government, of course, says multiple central schemes are now being implemented. The government says there have been about 70 visits by central ministers to the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. But security and Pakistan state-sponsored radical Islamist terror remains the biggest challenge. Kamaljeet Kaur Sandhu gets you our top story.
Drones, snipers, combat boats. There is 360-degree security ramp-up in Srinagar, ahead of Home Minister Amit Shah's arrival in Jammu and Kashmir on Saturday. Hugely anticipated amidst the current spate of violence, the visit happens to be Minister Shah's first since the abrogation of Article 370. But Amit Shah's focus will be dominated by the continuing targeted terror attacks on minorities and migrant workers from outside Kashmir. The onus will be on him to get a first-hand look at how bad things are and what urgent changes need to be made, including more boots on the ground. For a valley never short of security apparatus, it is even more a fortress now for the high-level visit. Srinagar for the first time has been divided into drone grids, which will give security forces an edge and enhance security cover. India Today reports from the ground, getting you up close.
CRPF is responsible for guarding this Dal, and we have around 7 boats, as you are told. We are doing day and night domination of Dal by mobile patrolling as well as area domination.
Constant CCTV surveillance and secretly positioned snipers are deployed across the city, with bunkers moved strategically at certain locations.
In the wake of recent terror attacks, how is Srinagar city being secured? There has been human intelligence as well as technical intelligence, but now forces have the strength of the third eye, and that is provided by these drones. Multiple drones being used across the city for surveillance. We are near the Lal Chowk area, which is being secured not just by deployment of forces, but also by use of drones.
Men in civilian clothes will be monitoring movement across Srinagar town to track terrorists and overground workers. At least 10 CRPF companies and 15 from the BSF are being flown in to secure Srinagar city.
Measures like making a drone grid of the whole entire city. First time we are doing this, and other measure is the spotting of sniper shooters. Sniper shooters have been spotted, have been kept, have been fixed at various locations of the city. We have put our men and civvies, armed men and civvies, with lots of information as per threat inputs.
Just a day ahead of Amit Shah's arrival in a major crackdown on terror, the police has identified 26 hardcore terror aides to be shifted out of Kashmir Valley. A chartered plane is to fly them out.
They're being taken out now from Kashmir Valley. The list is going up to 100, which is A and B category, will be booked under Public Safety Act. A message being sent out, especially after spate of terror attacks, targeting minorities as well as non-locals.
The CRPF, one of the largest deployed forces in the Kashmir Valley, is also beefing up its presence, with top boss Kuldeep Singh in the valley to ensure first-hand mobilization. The brass of the country's security system will be in Srinagar along with the Home Minister, including the Intelligence Bureau Chief, the 3 Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh Corps commanders and chiefs of the Central Police Forces and paramilitary.
This is where they have kept in mind that both the areas need to be secured, and that is why strategic placement of bunkers, additional nakas, all this, and again drones being deployed so as to ensure that there is more security in place. With camera person Sanjeev, this is Kamaljeet Sandhu in Srinagar for India Today.
And the security forces are expected to get another weapon to battle the ever-changing face of terror in Kashmir. Artificial intelligence-assisted facial recognition cameras are to be deployed across Srinagar initially and then perhaps the rest of Jammu and Kashmir. This is an ambitious project. Kamaljeet Kaur Sandhu gets us more. Facial recognition cameras on the streets of Srinagar. The new preemptive counter-terror weapon, street-side cameras. As terrorists spill blood on the streets of Kashmir, security forces are unleashing technology to counter Pakistan's state-sponsored radical Islamist terror. Automated facial recognition cameras are to be installed to identify and hunt down terrorists. These artificial intelligence-assisted facial recognition cameras will help authorities in tracking suspects by detecting their movements the moment they step out. The face recognition algorithm analyzes relative position, size, and features to identify people. The cameras identify facial features from an image and compare it to the subject's face. These images are then used to search for a match from the available database. The advanced cameras can even detect body language and the gait of a person.
In many instances, we have seen that criminals of other states have come to our states and they are roaming in the city. Sometimes noted OGWs, sometimes noted terrorists are hiding in vehicles and they are making wrecking of the city. This time, with the help of these cameras, they are not able to do this because these cameras are going to alert us that matching to this face, a person has been noticed at this point in this vehicle.
Officials in the security grid tell India Today there are around 300 CCTV cameras across Srinagar. These facial recognition cameras may soon become an addition to the city. The proposal is likely to be brought up during the visit of the Union Home Minister Amit Shah.
तो हम उनको ये फैसिलिटी यहाँ से प्रोवाइड कर सकते हैं. उनको जहाँ भी टावर लगवाने हैं या कैमरा नस्ब करने हैं तो हम उनको पूरा ताउन देंगे उसमें. मुझे लगता है सिटी में भी 500-600 कम से कम कैमरास नस्ब होने चाहिए जो हमारा पुराना शहर है.
These high-tech cameras will not only help preempt and prevent a terror strike but also help identify and arrest perpetrators.
The Jammu Kashmir police has raised its bar in its fight against terror. They were using human intelligence and technical intelligence, but now there is facial recognition technology which is being brought in to fight against terror, to get better results and successes as far as their operations are concerned. With camera person Sanjeev, this is Kamaljeet Sandhu in Srinagar for India Today.
The Union Home Minister will also inaugurate the first flight from Srinagar to Sharjah. There is also hope that Dubai investing in real estate development projects in Jammu and Kashmir will bring in prosperity. But there has to be peace, a prerequisite for prosperity. Joining me on India First is Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni, former Director General of Infantry. Brigadier Anil Gupta is the spokesperson of Jammu and Kashmir Bharatiya Janata Party. Majid Haidri is a Kashmir rights activist. But before I bring in my guests, Pakistan's former High Commissioner to India, Abdul Basit, is extremely upset with the government of Dubai signing an MOU with the Jammu and Kashmir Union Territory Administration to invest in real estate in India. Ambassador Basit says this is a major success for Indian diplomacy and government and a major failure of the Imran Khan government and Pakistan's diplomacy. Listen in.
बहरहाल मजमूई तौर पे मुसलमान ममालिक ने OIC ममालिक ने पाकिस्तान और कश्मीरियों की फीलिंग्स का ख्याल रखा है. अब जब ये मेमोरेंडम ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग पे दस्तखत हो गए हैं तो बिल्कुल वाज़े करता है कि हमारी अब जो है ये मामला हमारे हाथ से निकलता जा रहा है और हम लगता कुछ यूँ है कि बस अंधेरे में अपने हाथ पांव हिला रहे हैं और हमें कुछ समझ नहीं आ रही और इस वजह से हमारी अब कोई पॉलिसी रही नहीं. सच्ची बात तो ये है कश्मीर पे. ये दुख की बात है. इसमें मैं इस हुकूमत को ठीक है ये जो इनका एक किस्म का कैजुअल एक अप्रोच रही है कश्मीर के हवाले से वो तो इनको अब सारी ज़िंदगी हॉन्ट करेगी. لیکن پچھلی حکومتوں نے بھی اپنا پورا اس میں ڈالا ہے حصہ ہماری کشمیر کی جو پالیسی ہے اس کو کمزور کرنے میں.
Be that as it may, the challenge of terror remains. 11 civilians killed by terrorists, 9 soldiers killed in counter-terror operations on either side of Pir Panjal. The challenges are huge. Brigadier Gupta, it's been 2 years since Amit Shah's speech in Parliament and the reorganization of J&K on the basis of Article 370. What has been achieved? These targeted killings continue in the valley.
Gaurav, these are random killings. Though the purpose is same, but what is happening is that these type of events too take place in these counter-terror operations. These are not a smooth highway that everything goes smoothly throughout the year. Ups and downs do take place in such type of operations, and we have to accept it. Yes, there's been spurt recently, but for that there are causes, and we are well aware of the causes. To say that nothing has happened after 5th August, I don't
what
agree.
are the causes? What are the causes? 2 years after 370, one would have thought that terrorists are on the run after demonetization, and 5 years after demonetization, terrorists weren't supposed to have any funding. What happened, sir? What are the causes?
See, the entire ecosystem in Kashmir is so badly affected that it won't be cleared in 2 years. One must understand that. There is a very vast terror sport network. Till such time the terror sport network finishes or completely dies down in Kashmir, the terrorism will remain. As long as there is even single gun, the fear of terror will remain. So it will take time. Things have improved. There are no processions to there. There are no stone throwing. There are no band calls. There are no Friday hartals. Hurriyat is almost inactive. So many positive factors are there. But
Majid Haidari.
Terror.
Okay, Majid Haidari. There have been protests in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir today, and we'll be playing out those images of protests in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Now, these people in POK protested against Pakistan Army's invasion in Jammu and Kashmir in October 1947. Now, that's a landmark. 1990 was another landmark where Pakistan-sponsored radical Islamist terror destroyed a generation in Jammu and Kashmir. In 2021, are targeted killings another manifestation of this radical Islamist Pakistan state-sponsored terror? And will people in Kashmir Valley oppose Pakistan-sponsored terror this time, sir?
Well, Gaurav Sahab, my ideological differences with BJP apart, but Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji and Honorable Home Minister Amit Shah ji had managed the abrogation of Article 370 with all its perfection. For the next 6 months of the abrogation, there were no protests, no killings, and there was a kind of a hope of Naya Kashmir, good governance. But what finally has happened in these last 2 years is that the public alienation has been so big that BJP couldn't win more than 74 seats out of the 276 seats of the District Development Council elections. The spike in civilian killings has been such that people are fleeing from Kashmir. And what kind of governance we have in Jammu and Kashmir for the last 2 years is that on the day 2 non-Muslim teachers were killed in Kashmir, Manoj Sinha ji's government launched Jashn-e-Dal, celebration of Dal for 3-day event. The Bihari Golgappawala who was shot dead in Kashmir, government couldn't send him back. This was one side. And on the other side in Poonch, we have been having a gun battle for the last 14 days. But Manoj Sinha ji's government, none of his advisors or the worthy Lieutenant Governor went to Poonch to see the reality. So if there is a kind of a need for a crackdown, it needs to start from the bureaucracy in Jammu and Kashmir, which has put Modi ji's image at stake at the moment. We don't have a democratically elected government.
It's not about the Prime Minister's image.
Be made accountable.
Sir, it's radical Islamist terror. It's destroyed one generation in Kashmir post-1990. While I completely take your point on the government's response, it's the people's response that is equally in question here, sir. General Kulkarni, what will direct flights to Sharjah achieve? What will direct flights to Sharjah achieve, General Kulkarni? What will Dubai government's investment plans achieve if, as Brigadier Gupta says, that ecosystem of terrorism still remains in the valley? Is an effort being made to neutralize the terror-enabling ecosystem? Because otherwise, killing terrorists, you may kill 11 today, 20 tomorrow, it'll just be like pruning the branches and leaves of the terror tree.
Gaurav, there's no doubt that you can kill militants, and we can kill a number of militants, and as many as they can who crop up can be eliminated. But what's more important, is this mindset which has to be addressed. And this mindset addressing is very important, and that is what is more relevant today than anything else. And this terror support network, which seems to be coming from the locals of the valley, even those 60 to 70% are looking at development. The youth have given up. But let me tell you, out of the 1.4 crore population, there are 70 lakhs which are just in these 10 districts of the Kashmir. And out of them, over 65% of the population there is less than 32 years. And that's the kind of thing they have to be addressed. So therefore, the investments that are going to come from UAE, because Pakistan always saw Saudi Arabia and UAE as great financial supporters of it. Both of them have declined now, and now Pakistan is looking towards Turkey and China. China has always been giving them. USA has frozen their fund. They aren't giving much to Pakistan now. So you find the Financial Action Task Force has put a lot of pressure on Pakistan and has put them on the grey list again and again.
Okay.
This kind of, until and unless the people from Kashmir realize, and when investments start coming from UAE into Kashmir, I think the terror support network which was coming from within the valley, there will be a resistance to all these groups, primarily until and unless we get strict, very, very strict.
Majid Hydari, is that also your appreciation? When investment comes in, when more jobs come in, people will be weaned away from the Hurriyat setup. After the Friday namaz, as Brigadier Gupta says, no longer do we see either stone pelting or those Islamic State flags outside the Jamia Masjid like we did earlier.
Well, Gaurav Sahab, there's an irony of our national policy. On one side, we are talking about quote-unquote Islamist terror. We are talking about Wahhabi Islam influencing Islamist terror. And then we go to shake hands with the Wahhabi country, United Arab Emirates, and then we talk about Wahhabi contact with India getting tied with some stronger bonds. And we are totally confused on what the policy on Kashmir should be. Are you against Islamist terror, the Wahhabi people, or are you making friends with them? I am confused. Kindly you enlighten me over this.
Sir, you may well be confused. I'm sure the policies be against gun-wielding terrorists who kill innocent civilians, Brigadier Gupta. Anti-Pakistan slogans in POK may be symbolic, but terrorists continue to infiltrate. Local support to terror remains. Now, you cannot even blame that there's a Mehbooba Mufti government or an Omar Abdullah government to blame. If terrorists exist, if terror-enabling ecosystem still flourishes, then as Majid Hydari says, what about your Lieutenant Governor who's been in charge ever since abrogation, sir?
The Lieutenant Governor is doing his job. The army is doing its job. The security forces are doing its job. They are all working in unison. As I told you, this is a problem which cannot be solved overnight. People laugh at it by saying, how many more nights? You agree with me that this cannot be time-bound. It cannot be just said in so many days or so many months or so many years. As I said, the ecosystem is too deep-rooted. And the government, like Lieutenant Governor, has taken the bold decision of throwing those people in service, throwing out. Those are involved in international activities. Such major decisions have been taken.
Are these merely symbolic? Are these merely symbolic?
They are not symbolic. They are not symbolic at all. You see the list of people who have been removed from service. They are not symbolic. It is having the effect. It's having the effect on ground. And that is where there are a lot of hue and cry being made. Because those who supported this ecosystem when they were in politics or when they were in power, they are now crying against it. You have heard what Mehbooba Mufti has said and what even Abdullahs have made remarks on this. Because they are a party to the system. Now
General
coming
Kulkarni,
on to this,
okay.
the aid, please let me say something.
Go on, sir.
This aid which is coming from UAE is very, very symbolic and important. It weakens Pakistan's stand. Pakistan, which always thought that the Muslim nations were with it on the Kashmir issue, has been given a slap by the UAE. Earlier also, in the OIC also, neither Saudi Arabia nor UAE supported Pakistan. Most of the Muslim countries did not support Pakistan. Now, by agreeing to invest in Kashmir, they have made it very clear that for them, Kashmir is an integral part of Jammu and Kashmir, is an integral part of India.
Sir, isn't it time that we now, I appreciate your point that your government's been in power from 2014 onwards, of course, for some time with Mehbooba Mufti, but let's move beyond symbolism to substantive achievements and let's have some real achievements on ground. General Kulkarni, is there merit in Brigadier Gupta saying that the rot runs really deep, well-oiled, well-entrenched interests of 70 years plus will take at least 70 months, as one government officer was telling me, to be defanged, and not just the 2 years that's happened since abrogation of Article 370?
Gaurav, there is nobody better than Brigadier Gupta to tell you, because he's a man from there itself. But notwithstanding, right from 1947, if you see the kind of treatment, even before independence, the kind of this strategy being planned, should Maharaja Hari Singh not go along with Pakistan, what would he be doing? All being hashed at 10 Aurangzeb Lane. It's from then on, and to subsequently even putting Sheikh Abdullah for 10 years in jail. What is all this indicative of? That there is a long-standing kind of a thing which is going on and on and on in the Kashmir Valley, and there is a terror support network. Now with the investments coming in, of course, with the kind of technology being used, the kind of drones being used, the human intelligence and the cyber, all of it will now ensure the security forces will take on north and south of Punjab. The target killings that have been activated by all those people who are just doing, shoot and scoot, the OGWs, the kind of sleeper cells that are working, the kind of ISI network over there, all of this needs to be totally demolished. And people, most important is people like Mr. Hydari and everybody there must stand united and say, we want to finish the terror. We are with India. We will stay and live for India. If that is the
fair
voice
enough. Well, if that comes from within Mr. Hydari and others, everyone would be the happiest. I've run out of time on this part of the show. Before, I toss to the next show, for just listen in to the protests in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir against the Pakistan Army. Listen in to these protests. We have a big show. Kunal Shah, Cred founder, exclusive with Udyan Mukherjee. But listen in to these, to Pakistan-occupied Kashmir about Pakistan Army.
Pakistan